Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. It's amazing to see so many of you registered and so many of you today here in the room, which is wonderful. It's always very nice for me to see some cameras on. So if you have the possibility to have your camera on, and I think it's a good way to be engaged and to get the most out of the session. Of course, if it's not possible, do not worry about it. You are not going to be kicked out of the room. Just a little invitation and appreciation as well for those who can have their cameras on this call. So today's topic is going to be how to craft your USP, unique selling point, and how to get more clients. Really passionate about talking about this topic, and I just want to prepare you a little bit in advance because I am going to be asking for volunteers. I'm going to be a little bit doing a little bit of coaching on the call for those who want, and no pressure again. If you want to, if you don't want to, you do not have to have your camera on as well for that. But I feel like because unique is going to be our keyword today, and I think the best way to demonstrate that, the best way to illustrate that everyone is different and everyone has got a different thing that we bring to the table, a uniqueness. The best way to illustrate that would be to actually get to talk to real people and see how unique we are. So I'm going to be there's going to be like sort of short little bits that we could be doing together with volunteers, ideally different people, so as well as we get a flavor of different professions and different styles and different individuals. Again, no pressure. We'll see how it goes. Please, this is your session. I hope that you get the best possible outcome and the best insights. So really, I don't believe, as you can really imagine, I don't believe in a magic recipe, magic potions, or 5 steps to get to ... I think if that existed, we would know. I mean, if there was a magic formula that we could follow from A to Z that would work for everyone, we would know. So the way to find the answers, the way to find things that are going to work for you to get to the success that you want, is unique to you. So basically, the answers are inside of you. And what we're going to do is go through different processes so that you can help yourself find these answers. At the end of the presentation, I will also give you a link to a little worksheet that I've created that sort of summarize all these different steps so that you can go away from this call and really take the time to dive deep and look at all these different steps and figure that out for yourself. It's great to do it on your own. It's great to do it as well with people that you trust, maybe a colleague or a friend or a family member, so that you can have that sort of this self-coaching experience and with the feedback of someone else as well. That can be really helpful. So yes, so we're going to do that. There will be a Q&A space after the presentation. If there is anything really urgent that you want to ask, also please just maybe use the raise hands button at the bottom of the screen to let me know that you want to ask a question urgently. So first question: how do I get more clients? This is really a very common question that everyone is passionate about and should be. In my experience of coaching people, is that everyone is definitely unique and everyone has got a different story. I have worked with people who have really reached the success that they wanted with writing a book or using letters that they're going to be sending. So really, the different way to doing it really depends on what you want to achieve, and the best starting point is to start with yourself. And again, I'll take you through this process so that we can get the best possible clarity for you. A little word of introduction first about myself. You might be wondering, who is this person? Oh, there's a little bit of an accent there. Where's the accent from? Any guesses? Usually people do guess. French accent. Yes? Did you guess? Well done. So I am Coach Clem Harding, a certified entrepreneur and mindset coach. I started my career as a teacher, actually, teaching languages, traveling the world, then created the first successful business in France, and now dedicating to coaching freelancers, entrepreneurs, believing in the work that starts within, really that inner foundation, resilient mindset to really help you to build that business, the private freelance business that you want. So yes, so we are going to be talking about first about your USP, discovering what makes you unique. Second, we're going to look at the offer. What does that have as a consequence on my offers, and how do I craft my irresistible offers and of products or services? And then what's the plan? What's my strategy? What do I do? So we start with the USP. And I love this little pyramid that you can see here on the screen with the why, the what, and the how. I think for me, it's a really great way to sort of illustrate what we're looking at when we're looking at a successful business. And a common mistake that I see again and again and again, you can't see the pyramid. Can you see it now? Zoomed in. Yes. Why, what, and how. And a common mistake is for lots of people to jump straight into the how. Oh, how do I do things? What about social media? How do I get my clients, etc., etc.? Why? It's so important to start with actually the top of the pyramid. Start with the why. So this is really what we're answering when we're looking at this unique selling point. I know that it can be a little bit of a marketing jargon term. So if that's a little bit intimidating for you, just think about what's unique. What's unique? What is that I have to offer that is different? And so the question of the why is crucial. My why. And so I have a different set of questions that I'm going to offer that again you will find. Oh yeah, someone is saying to go to spotlight mode so that you can maybe see me in a bigger screen. Okay, we're all good there. Cool. Because I guess you have all the slides there. So if I'm only a little image here, that's not going to be great. So yeah, so a set of questions to go and to have a look at what my why is. What is the why for me? So I'll give you those questions, and while I'm doing that, just think about if you want to be a volunteer and if you want to be coached a little bit on your why. So it's not going to be very long, just a minute or two. If you feel like you would like to have some clarity. I'll read out the questions and then raise your hands if you wanna have a go. So the first question would be, why do I do what I do? So that's investigating and getting clarity on what is the deeper meaning for me of my freelance business. What does it mean to do that as my job, as my work? Yeah. And then there's the question of, why did I start in the first place? Why did I start? Why did I go freelance? Yeah. Have we got any volunteers? Anyone that wants to see if we can? Okay, Attila, great. Can you unmute yourself?
Do I need to answer the two questions?
So can we start with, why do I do what I do? What would come to you if I ask you this question?
I am a graphic designer, and I do that because I am good at that. It's natural, let's say, in me, and it's something that I'm interested in: visual communication and communicating visually.
Yeah. Okay, so you've always been good at it. What's the deeper meaning for you?
The deeper meaning.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
Is there a deeper meaning for you to communicate like that visually, to bring the message in that particular way?
Well, I know, like, when I work with a client and then we achieve this moment and then, things are done and it's perfect and the mission is accomplished in a way.
Okay. So for you, it's a way to accomplish the mission, to help the client accomplish the mission?
The client, exactly. And I get nervous when, when you see how things could become visually and better and they are not. So it's like...
Okay, excellent. Why freelancing? Why did you start freelancing?
I started in 2016 because I want to create my own schedule mainly. I have a lot of interests and I want to have the freedom. I want to have the freedom to be visiting my family or my friends in different countries as I am doing and then working all the time. I'm never on holidays. So it's like, it's that system that works for me.
Excellent. So there's this idea of the visual communication, of the mission, the connection and the freedom. So for you, the freedom is to be with your family and the connection. Why
Or
would you want to
friends,
be?
or just, or just wanted to do yoga at 3 in the afternoon.
And the freedom of doing what you want to do with your time. Yeah, yeah. Why do you want to be successful with your freelance business?
I want to be able to sustain myself, to support myself completely without any struggles, which is happening at the moment. And because I think, and beside that, the material side, I want to be successful because I feel that I have many things to offer, but I also have a lot of self-doubt, which is something that is,
Oh, okay. Okay. You have a lot of self-doubt, but you feel your potential. You feel that you've got a lot to offer.
I know when it works and I know the success, then I need to tackle all these things also.
Wonderful. Great. So really what I see, if I summarize all the different things that you've said, is that you've always had those skills that come very naturally for you. The graphic design is the way for you to speak. It's a different language. It's a way to communicate, and it's a way for your clients to bring their mission to the world, to give birth to their missions to the world. And the reason why you're freelancing is in freelancing, there's freedom, there's free, which is beautiful. I love that. You want more time, you want more connection, you want more flexibility. And the reason to be successful is, of course, to be financially secure, and also to have more confidence in yourself and knowing that you're living up to your full potential.
Yeah. About it.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much, Attila. So we are going to go back to the presentation. So this is to show you the difference between the way we could introduce oneself and just say, oh, I'm just another graphic designer. I'm just I'm just another developer. I'm just another designer, etc. But really, really connecting. When you connect as much as possible with these different points for you, it really starts to shape your identity as a brand too. Because as a freelancer, of course, we are the brand, and we want to not lose that flavor with everything that we do from the start to the finish. So everything in our offers. So for Attila, what she's just shared needs to be. We need to see it. It needs to be imprinted in everything that she does, in all the way that she communicates. Yeah. Another quick tip as well about the why. If you're feeling a little bit stuck, or you're feeling that it's not really going very deep, is to keep asking why. Oh, why do you do what you do? Oh, because I think it's important for me. Oh, okay. Why is it important for you? Well, I think it's important for me because my parents never made it in life. And okay, so why would that be important for you to make it in life? Oh, because etc. etc. So there's a rule in coaching about asking 3 times the why when we feel like it's not going very deep, that I think is a great tip. So this is something that can be useful to you. Thank you for trying. There'll be more opportunities for other volunteers along the way. So the next step, after we've looked at what's unique and the why, we want to look at what is unique about me, what is different. And the more we embrace that difference, because sometimes difference can be quite associated with negativity. Oh, that different is negative, different is not great. But the more we embrace that difference, the more we stand out, and we actually are going to be memorable for others. And it becomes a strength. It becomes something that actually is really, really positive. So the next set of questions, and I will also ask for a volunteer for these, if anyone is up for doing it, around this idea of what is unique about me. The first question is, what is different? Second, what is different about my journey? Okay. And as a consequence, what is different about my brand? Okay. You got anyone that wants to give it a go? And I can help you with more questions as well. Sonia, wonderful. Yay! I love having volunteers.
I mean, I'm not sure if I might help much because I'm quite lost, but anyway, I'll try.
That's okay. No problem at all. No pressure. So, okay. So, Sonia, what do you do just that before we start?
Well, it's changing, but so I'm originally a graphic designer,
Yeah.
and last, let's say, 6 months, I've been rotating more into creative director role. So I
Okay.
help brands to put together, like, let's say, more brands or motion or basically like brand identities, marketing, so a little of everything. So I don't know. As
Okay.
a-
Okay. Great. Great. It's really helpful to have that as a starting point, as an idea. What is different about you, Sonia? What is different?
Yeah, I believe from what I've seen in my experience with other designers is that I do have business mindset,
Uh-huh.
and I've had very broad experience in my life. I traveled
Yeah.
solo for a year. I work in many other industries, not only
Yeah.
design. And
Yeah.
I also am very interested in business. I feel I do connect with people despite
Uh-huh.
they're not creative, so I can understand them
Uh-huh.
despite we don't all the same language. And I think I'm good at translating, I guess, and
Mm.
putting together people.
Excellent. Wow. There's so many nuggets in there. So many great key points. So just again to summarize, so we've got this idea of being able to understand, have the insight, so have this entrepreneurial mindset, so you know what they're going through, you understand what's happening for the business person, not only on the creative side, and you're able to translate that into your creative art and all the different things all the different solutions that you can provide. Wow, excellent. What's different about your journey, do you think?
Despite it's been very bumping, I'm not gonna lie, quite lost in my career. I feel for all of us designers, the industries keep changing. I feel this gave me a lot of flexibility.
Yeah.
So I've been in many roles. I've done graphic, print, motion. Now I'm
Yeah.
doing UX. So this helped me a lot to be robust and also adapt and understand other creative fields. So then I can put together
Yeah.
everyone in a room. So
Uh-huh.
that's kind of
Excellent.
my strength, empathy, I would say.
Yeah, empathy. I guess there's also the sense of multidisciplinary
Yeah.
aspect. You can look at all these things, connect the dots, and bring everyone um, connected around the table. Yeah, that's really great, really great. And you see the resilience, I think, aspect also is very important. Not lying about the bumpiness, but then also realizing that through challenges, there's so much that we learn and so much strength that we can build. Okay. As a result of that, then, Sonia, what's different about your brand? What sets you apart?
But that's a problem I'm having because sometimes I don't think it's valuable. At least in the UK, I'm originally from Spain. In the UK, I've seen that I mean, not being specialized, it's been a problem sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
They want sometimes, especially in freelancing, very specialized roles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So my strength is that I can help in multiple things and have like a global eye. But at the same time, I do know a very good motion design, which is animation for
Yeah.
brands.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if I respond the answer though.
Okay. Okay. So I think it does answer the question, because it does you stand out, which is actually a very good thing, because you provide to the table all these different things. The difficulty for you is to build the credibility that actually, yes, I am not lying, and I have actually all these skills that I can bring to the table, plus sort of the global eye and putting everything together. But what you can see, and I think that's really the point of this exercise of looking at what's different about me, what's unique about me, is seeing what could be seen potentially as a problem or a weakness, and really turn that into a strength for yourself. Yeah. Thanks, Sonia. Very interesting. Excellent. Cool. So moving on, when we've looked at the why, when we've looked at what's unique, we can put together the brand story, and we've started to put that together. I think we can feel that we have with the questions that we had with Sonia. What we want to do with the brand is telling the story. We really want, like with Attila, we want to keep that flavor of what's different with you all through of course, the visuals, but also very, very clear in you in the way you're going to talk about it. And again, what I hear times and times again when I talk to freelancers, I'm just another ... I'm just another web developer. I'm just another ... There's nothing special about me. No, there is something special about you, but it's difficult to see it for yourself. So we need to have those exercises to have this little bit of distance to be able to see that. Yeah. And this exercise also, and all the different questions that we're asking ourselves is enabling us to stop looking too much on the outside for our answers. Yeah. And we compare ourselves, we go on LinkedIn, we go on different portfolios, and we just go like, oh, they've done it this way, they've done it this way. Maybe I should. And that makes us doubt so much, right? So the idea is like, other people are doing other amazing things, yes, but just for this moment, this starting point, look inside. That's where you're going to feel also more confident, more, stable, more grounded into what you want, what you've got to offer. Your style, your personality. Okay, so that's going to be the brand story. So really what we want to do with the brand is put together really briefly the why, what's unique about me, and the story of my brand. Yeah. And the action that I recommend, and you'll see that on the worksheet, is to have actually to record a little video of yourself, about a minute or two, just practicing that and getting more and more confident and familiar with telling others about why you do things, what's different about you and your brand. Anyone would like to have a go? And I can guide you. You don't have to have something, of course, already there. But who wants to put together? No worries if no one is a volunteer. Jessie, can you unmute yourself, Jessie? Sorry, we can't hear you.
I used to be a classroom teacher, so I can see when I'll be the buffer kid. I'll be the kid.
Thank you, Jessie. I appreciate that. Thanks. Okay, so start by telling me about your why. How would you summarize your why in a few words?
I think my why is that I really like solving problems.
Yeah.
No problem too wicked, too weird, too small, too big. And I went freelance because I was a good soldier at an agency for many years.
Yeah.
A couple different agencies, a creative tech consultancy, then digital transformation agency. I'm a UX professional, by the way.
Yeah.
I want to solve more problems, but I also love the idea of getting dropped into a mess, sorting it out, and leaving, which is, without having to necessarily, do sort of the management around that.
Yeah.
Which there's a lot when you're in house or when you're, a good soldier. And I want to be that person on call. I want to be the consultant, the girl, again. And I'm starting to build that a little bit, but it's been really hard. I was made redundant quite suddenly last year, a few months after my partner died, and it was a lot, but starting to kind of understand what is it that I really wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the part I loved about jobs the most, or the projects I loved the most, were the things that no one else wanted to do.
Excellent.
Because they're hard.
Yeah, so we're really touching here already with what's unique about you. I love that. The queen of solutions, going where people don't want to go. That's amazing. And so you've already talked about your journey and the difficulties that you had to face. Anything else that's unique, that's different about yourself?
I didn't take a conventional journey to UX. Like I mentioned, I used to be a teacher. My education is in philosophy and politics. Spent 2 years in Prague as an English teacher. I'm really passionate about education generally. And, I come from I'm a third culture kid, come from a multicultural background. And I like to do kind of thinking and analysis. That's what philosophy will teach you. Doesn't teach you how to use Figma. Doing, and I'm quite business minded. Obviously, being at a senior level in agency, you're always really concerned about your rate, how profitable a project's going to be, even if, and obviously as UX, you're solving business problems, and you always want to know, the numbers at the end, and connecting with people. Again, I was did a lot of mentorship, did a lot of team building and stuff like that, because I think it's important. Agency life is hard. Life is hard in general, and making sure that you are able to be authentic, but at the same time, uplift your colleagues and uplift, your clients and uplift, and doing so with joy, but also resilience, because
it does. It does, totally. So that's definitely something you're bringing to the table as well, with your experience, with the teaching, that the true collaboration, the true cooperation, and bringing that to the table, so that I'm sure you leave that with your clients as well, with the work that you do.
Yes, and I absolutely, and it's I think having workshops where everyone can kind of, I have 2 USPs: information architecture, which is the thinking part, and workshops. And I really think that, making sure that everyone feels seen and feels comfortable and feels, because that's what we're trying to get for users as well.
Exactly. So for me, that really stands out with your brand, your ability to not only go where others don't want to go and provide the solutions. I know that we emphasize a lot on problem solving. I love also the word solution. I think that brings a lot of positivity to the table. But I feel as well, what's different with what you implement is the empowerment, because you're actually enabling people to be seen, to be uplifted, and to grow in their skills as they go along and working with you. So I would really use that as well when you tell your brand story. Does that sound good?
That sounds awesome and amazing, and feeling better. Thank you.
Thanks, Jessie. Cool. So so play with that a little exercise of so of course you'll have all these questions, so you can really take the time after the presentation to review all of this. But think about, what could I do if I was to do a little video that I record, showcasing my USP, my story, using storytelling. You don't have to have a rigid sort of structure, but if it's sweet and short, and that's something you can actually use for your marketing, so then you can go, hey, I can post that. That can be on my portfolio. That can be on my social media. Okay, and that's a way to bring all of that together. All of these questions are leading us to that first little idea of a product. Let's call it a resource, which covers, for this first part, my USP. Okay, so I'm really, really appreciative. Thank you so much for our volunteers. It makes the session so different, so much better. So, and everyone can see how a little journey, just in a few questions, we go through this little journey, and we already touch on deeper things. And so there'll be more opportunities to play with me today. Thank you for playing. We're going to look at the offer then. Now that we are identifying, we keep identifying and keep diving deep into what is different, we look into my offer. Okay, so that's the second part there. We're looking at the what and the who. So first, as we've just done some clarity on the USB, one of the first questions, and again, there could be a volunteer if you wanted to in a moment. What projects are naturally aligned with my USP, with what is different, with what stands out, what naturally just comes to mind when I think about what's unique about me? Because again, it's really easy to get lost into all the different things that I could be doing. Woo! There's a long list there, and I could be talking about this and that and the other. When we think about the uniqueness, is there something or a few ideas that straight away come to you and go, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. The second question would be, what projects do you want more of? What do you want to do more of? Yeah. Similar question, which would be, who do you want to work with? Who do you want to work with? And if we go a little bit further, similar question, but what do you dream of doing? Who do you dream of working with? Which is a little bit of a slightly different angle. Have we got anyone who wants to jump in and play? It's okay if not. We already have amazing volunteers. I'll just give you a little moment. Yeah. So just see if at some point you want to raise your hands, that's no problem. So what I want to say here is the question of the niche. Okay, we've touched on a little bit already. Should I have a niche? I can't find my niche. I'm really struggling with the niche question. Okay. I would say maybe a different approach, if that's something that you're struggling with, is to look at a main profile for clients rather than like excluding, because I feel with a niche, a lot of people are really, really afraid of closing the door to potential clients that they're really, really excited to working with, and they don't want to exclude all of these category. Or I don't know if you're working mainly with, as a different example, mainly with men, then I don't want to exclude women and that sort of things. So thinking about a main profile, I think is helpful. The main avatar, as they say in marketing, is helpful because that gives you a starting point. That gives you a starting point to potentially work on displaying a portfolio or creating your post, and you have someone in mind that you are speaking to. And don't worry about it closing the door onto other people. That does not close the door, okay? But that helps you to see, to give your marketing a little bit of a direction, okay? Another question also that I found super cool that can help at this point if you're struggling with what you want to do, what offer, and who you want to work with, is imagining that we have a magic wand. If I had a magic wand here, we have a magic wand, and you have 3 wishes or only just 1 wish, what do you change? What changed? What do you get? Who do you get to work with? What does that change? Because sometimes as well, we have a tendency, again, to look outside and to go, oh, there's a market for this, there's a market for that. This is what I need to do. I need to adapt and go for this niche because there's a big need there. While if we start dreaming big and start going, oh, what really ignites the passion for me, it gives us also some new perspectives, some new ideas. Yeah. So this way, maybe to illustrate a little bit about what I meant with the niche. So in my case, I work mainly with women. Most of my clients are freelancers or entrepreneurs that are women, and so on my website I talk mainly to them on my social media, on my posts, etc. But equally, it does not stop men to contact me. So I have a minority, maybe 10% of my clients are men, and they resonate with my message. They like what I've got to say. It was a good surprise for me as well to realize, hey, okay, it's not actually excluding, but it gives me a sense of direction. It gives me a little bit of a compass. Okay. And that's, I always found that extremely useful as well. So if that's something you're struggling a little bit on, writing your LinkedIn or writing your website, things like that, to have actually someone, a past client or an ideal client, to imagining that you're speaking to them and what you would like to do with this person, I found that really, really helpful. Okay. Volunteer, Sonia, or a question maybe.
I have a question. I don't know if it's best to write it or just say it.
Go on. Yeah.
No, one question. Have you ever, like, basically, because sometimes you have in mind, let's say that you want to work with women only, and then you end up working with women and then you don't like it. Yeah. So do you recommend, for instance, focusing on what ideally you want, and then testing, and then like, no, actually I don't like it. I don't know. This happened to me. What you have in the head and reality change a lot.
Okay. Yes. So I think testing it is always the best way, always, for sure. For anything that you have as an idea, as a theory, then you put it out there, don't you? And the market will tell you. So it's interesting that's already been your experience. What I would go back to is actually think about and ask yourself why that was your ideal client, why you liked in theory about this client, and then where you can find that. If you can find that in reality, in practice with this actual experience, then what do I need to change to then get that with the clients I want to work with? Okay. Excellent. Thanks for the question. And moving on after looking at the offer, and you'll see again in the worksheet, you'll have different questions. We want to think about the solution. Again, that's something that came up already with Jessie, but I really like this keyword there. My offer, it's not creating a need that's not there. I'm not manipulating people into buying. I am providing the solution that they're looking for, that they need. Sometimes they're not aware that they need it, but most of the time they are, and they're looking for it. Yeah. So again, thinking out of the box, stopping to for a moment, stop to look at the competitors and what they do, but let your USP give you your directions. What is my style? What is the way I provide? I fill the gap. I build a bridge between the problem and the solution. And the unique way I'm going to be doing it. Yeah. So identifying the solution, okay, that I have to solve for the clients, and understanding how specifically I will solve that problem. Again, anyone wants to jump in and have a little play? Ruben, yay! Awesome.
Hi.
Hi.
This is a good one. Yeah, this is a useful one for me because having worked in agencies, what I found in agencies was in order to justify, the budget, you have to take everything away and work on it yourself, and then deliver it back and go da-da. The nice thing about being an individual freelancer is that you can work really alongside the client. So I would say that the unique way that I tend to work is to really involve them in everything and be really collaborative, and not do that kind of like, oh, it's creative magic you wouldn't understand thing, but really like get them in the room, do the workshops together, do the work, and then when you arrive at a solution, they're more invested in it because they've been part of creating it.
Brilliant.
So
That sounds really good.
So, yeah, I would say that's something that for me like stood out as a obvious answer to that.
Excellent. Yeah, that's great. Can you tell us what you do?
I'm a creative consultant, so I really do sort of creative strategy, brand narrative, kind of strategic creative, really.
And if you were to identify the problem in a few words that your clients face, what would that be?
Usually they don't have a consistent way of talking about their brand or a product or an offer. Yeah.
So lack of consistency, lack of clarity, is that connected to?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And you've answered the question about how you solve that. You really involve them. You really make sure that they're on board with it and they really believe. And so that's the best success for the implementation, isn't it? Like if that's something that really, and we talk about strategy, the strategy is great on paper, but what we want is the strategy to work in action, don't we? Yeah. Very cool. No, I like that. I think it's very clear. Love that. Thanks, Ruben. Wonderful. So that gives you again an idea of how not only my offer can be different, but also how I'm going to create that solution for my clients. Excellent. My fees. Ooh, that's a big one, isn't it? How do I charge? How much do I charge? What to charge? Are we? Is that something that resonates with you guys? Yeah. So I am going to share a few things, which is more like sort of a maybe some resources that could be useful to you guys. And then we'll look into as well some questions, some more like coaching questions that I think you're getting used to that, aren't you? Like, oh, again, some more questions. Yes, that's what we do with coaching. So what do I charge? Do I charge an hourly rate? Do I charge a day rate? Do I charge by projects and what I'm delivering? Is it tailored every time? So the quick answer is it depends, right? There is no right or wrong answer. And the way, again, to go is really, again, to have all these processes, to start from the why and to go down and to see what makes sense. Maybe there isn't a set fee. Maybe it's every time a different quote. Maybe it depends of the size of the time of the budget of the individual, etc., etc. Maybe it's a set fee. Maybe it's very clear. Maybe it's very, very strong. So that's going to really depend on your style, on what you want to achieve and how you deliver as well. Okay. So one thing that I found is useful is to think about tier pricing. Tier pricing. You can see some examples here. So the idea is if you want something visually, either in a proposal or on a website, think about if that could be a resource that's useful to you. Instead of having just one offer and one price, to have 3 different offers: basic one, standard one, and advanced or up, etc., etc. So it doesn't have to be only 3. I can show you one with 4. This one has got 4. Okay. And this is being seen in pricing psychology to be quite efficient, and usually with one of the offers that shows as the recommended one. If you have 3 offers, it's usually the middle one. And that's interesting because we think that a lot of the cases we should be putting all our effort and all our focus on the most expensive offer, right? Particularly on this graph, it would be the one on the right. But actually, what the tier pricing suggests is that you're more likely to be selling the one in the middle. So that is interesting for you. So knowing that the one that you want to sell is actually not necessarily the higher one. So you may have to have an even higher one. Does that make sense? If you want to sell the one that you have in mind, okay? So that's something that I've always found very useful. And we looked at how to implement that into a proposal. So of course, that question is very connected. You wouldn't be surprised with knowing your worth, okay? And how do I know what I'm worth? What the work that I do is worth? Well, it's to look at all the different things that you have, all the different skills. And for a lot of people, what's very useful is to look at all your experience, all that you have invested to get to where you're at, guys. All the hours studying, working, learning, practicing, delivering with different companies, with yourself, with different clients. Look back at all that you have done. And I know that it's really easy to have an imposter syndrome, but it's really helpful to look at all that we have done. Look at your portfolio, look at your achievements, okay? So that's one first point. But also thinking, instead of thinking what you think people are able to afford, is really looking at, okay, what is this solution I'm providing? I'm providing this solution. What is that worth for my client? What is this solution worth to my client, okay? Rather than going, oh, yes, oh, it should be this, it should be that. If it was me, that's a usual trap that we fall into. If it was me, I would think that this is too expensive, or this is too high, that it would never work, etc. Okay. So a few questions again to go through, and we can just do that all together. Start thinking about it before you get to the worksheet and you dive deep on your own. First question is, am I too cheap? That's the first question you need to ask yourself. Am I too cheap? If the answer is yes, aha, I see a few nods here and there and some smiles. Am I too cheap? Ah, okay. So that gives you a pointer towards, right, I need to review that. There are some things that is not quite right in the way I price myself. Okay. Second question, and I've already mentioned it. What is my solution worth to my client or my clients? Yeah. Other question, could I use a tier pricing strategy? Is that relevant? Is that useful? Okay. Other question, is this relevant to display my fees on my website? And with that question, really, it's included like, or is it really that I need to be looking at things differently? Is it that I have different prices depending on the type of clients? If it's a bigger company, if it's a smaller company, if it's a one-off, if it's that. Is it actually a lot more of a tailored approach with my fees? In my experience, a lot of the entrepreneurs that adopt that strategy, instead of having just one set fee, hourly rate or day rate, but really adapt and do not put their prices on their website, find that they're happier with the results. They feel it's more ethically aligned with them, and they feel more their worth when they do that. So that's maybe something to explore. But again, I'm not saying this is the way it should be done. It really depends. Anyone that wants to explore the fees, coaching style? That's okay, no problem. Moving on. Oh yes, Ruben again. Yes.
I can only just chat quickly about this, but I had some really good advice earlier in my freelance career by a creative director that I used to work for. He's just said price is a signal. You know, people buy a BMW because it's expensive. You know, they don't know that it's better, but they assume it is because it's expensive. So don't be afraid to charge a rate that you feel like you're worth. And for me, it helped me to put myself in the category that I wanted to be in and not compete with people that were you know, cheaper than me, basically. So yeah, I think it's like a really important part of your brand, actually. But
it is. I couldn't agree more. And really, what you're saying really reminds me of this idea of when we're asking yourself, am I too cheap? If the answer is yes, then you're going to appear cheap to your potential clients and employers, which means that you're potentially not going to be delivering a great work. And that is also part of the pricing psychology. Very important, Ruben, to flag up. Thank you so much for your contribution. Jessie, go on.
Sorry, just a quick build on that. When I was, basically I used to do project plans and plan out activities for, UX engagements, usually other people's engagements as well. And what we would do, what I'd always advise people to do is, effectively you'd have a list of your activities, what you'd be doing, your deliverables. Then you put, you calculate the amount of time, or you put in the amount of time and then divide it, and then put in your rates, day rates, for agencies, obviously a lot more. But one of the things that I think was really important, especially agencies that were struggling for new business, is that when you start to negotiate over, price, is that you don't drop your price, you put it in as a discount. So your price always remains the same, and then you have a discount instead of removing deliverables and kind of weakening that package or that project. You say, look, I understand, you obviously have budget constraints. I want to, you can tell by the way I'm talking, I'm like, but you can say, look, this is what I would recommend. I understand you maybe want to go with something else. I can give you a discount this time. See how you like it. And if you've done the job successfully, they will see results from that.
Absolutely. Totally agree. And put that on your invoice, special 20% discount. Absolutely. So that they see what is actually the value of what you're providing. But it's still okay if you want to go ahead, like you said. Excellent. Yeah, I love that. A little sort of build on, like I mentioned a little bit already, on the proposal idea, which I think is a tool and a resource that's not maybe used enough in our clients' experience. So we thought about our brand, thinking about what my client experience should be as well, is looking at how different do I want it to be. We want it to be memorable. We want it to be with that flavor, with that style of yours, through all the different steps that you're going to take your customers. So how am I meeting them? How am I having maybe this first conversation or chat? And then after that, is there a proposal that I'm potentially going to be sending? And then how do I communicate all the way? It should really reflect your style. It should be as organized as possible. Please be organized to send them like reminders and just say, oh, well, I'm just checking in after a week, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's really, really important for your consistency and your credibility. But I found that proposals are a great way to summarize after that first chat that you had, this initial chat, summarize what you could offer. So let's have a look at as an example here. So you can see in this proposal, we have those different areas. So first, that can be usually the different points, the different categories can be applicable to a lot of different areas. So first is your situation. What did I understand from our chat together? And this is a summary of what we discussed. Second point is, how can I help? What can I offer? What solution can I bring to the table? Then we move on to the fees. And again, you can have this chair pricing into your proposal there. Then number 4, I recommend, is to put some testimonials. So you have similar clients to the client, this particular client, this particular situation. Use the testimonials that are as close as possible. And then the next one is the next steps. Okay, so what are the next steps then? How do we get to work together? Do I check in? Do we want to jump onto another call? So really thinking, having as clear an idea as possible as this for this customer journey. And I think it's going to be also extremely reassuring for your potential client to see that they're really being, you know, hand-holding, you know where you're going, you know what's going next, etc. And you're organized and you're professional. So that's my little suggestion. We were talking about the actions that can be done. But all these reflections on the offer, I think, can really be put together as a document for yourself, summarized by this template proposal. So this is my suggestion of an action that you'll find on the worksheet. Create a template proposal for a typical client or an ideal client, bringing all the elements of your offer together. All of that should be in one place, so that's also super clear for you, and internally you're going to feel more confident, you're going to feel stronger. And of course, this is a template, so you adapt it to specific situations. Okay, wonderful. I see that we have also the time is moving forward. Yes, Sonia.
Can I challenge one thing regarding the fees tiers that I was thinking? I'm not sure. I don't want to interrupt. Something I noticed in my personal experience is that in my case, pricing has not worked so much. So what has worked actually, it's been maybe show myself as a freelancer, normal day rate. They start hiring me, then they find I am indispensable, I mean, for my clients. And then all of a sudden I'm like, well, guys, I'm leaving. And they are like, no, you're not leaving. I said, all right, so you pay me more. And then kind of like increasing during the year, little by little, and then it becomes clients 2 years. So it's kind of weird for me when you present this tier option because it didn't work for me. So I just don't know how people, if they expect something similar.
Okay, interesting. So again, it's the day-to-day, it's the reality that is going to show what works and what doesn't work. And I think it's similar to what Jessie was suggesting in terms of sometimes having this idea of a discount to start with, to create the relationship, to create the trust. And that can be maybe a different approach moving forward, Sonia. You can also be clearer maybe from the start, saying, okay, I understand we don't know each other, so my fee is normally this, but I'm okay doing an effort, but know that after this amount of time, I will ask for this much. And if you're still on board and you're happy, then having a little bit, something a little bit it's more planned. Potentially, that might work. It's something to explore and to try.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's very useful.
No problem. Great. So looking at the strategy, yes. Okay. So the strategy for me is something that I think is very important. It's all about the action. Okay. So we are in the bottom of the pyramid about the how. How do I then get in front of these people we've been talking about? And all the different entrepreneurs, freelancers, self-employed professional, and business people that I've talked to and worked with, I've had a different way to make it right. So there's no right or wrong. Only maybe the only wrong, and if that works for you, please don't be offended. For me, would be cold calling. I'm not a fan of cold calling. In my opinion, again, if it works for you and you find that works, great, brilliant. But I don't think it's it's a way to ask for a lot of effort, and I don't think it's necessarily the best way as well for ethical reasons. But what works for you is the most important. So I think what's important with the strategy is to realize that all these lovely things that are here on the visual, all my social media, my website, my portfolio, my book, my videos, etc., they are not actions. They're not actions. They are my resources. Yeah. They're more like a business card. They're more like something, once I've met XYZ person, they're going to look at that and go, oh, okay, interesting. Rarely you're going to have people finding you through these media, these channels. So you need to have actions to find your clients. Yeah, that's not how you find them. I come across a lot of people basically who come to me and go, oh, I've been posting on social media every day and I don't get any clients. Yes, because they are resources. They're not an action. They're not a strategy. They're not a plan. Okay. So we need to ask ourselves, where can I find my clients? So having identified better who they are, we want to know where they hang out, what sort of interests they have, what they need. Okay. And what we want to do is not find the clients, but enable clients to find you, to find a solution. Okay, they're looking for the solution. Again, we're not creating something that's not there. We are answering a solution, and we want to be visible for them to find you. Okay, so some ideas there, and that can be very, very broad. And again, the strategy and the way you are going to do it is going to be different from one person to another. Is networking. Networking is group, and networking is one-to-one. A dimension of networking one-to-one is very much ignored a lot of the time. We have a coming event on this topic, so if you want to tune in for that, that could be very, very helpful. Creating relationships with networking is really powerful, whether online or in person. Basically, we want to connect with real people. Yeah, creating events online or in person, doing presentations, being a speaker. That's also actions. So I'm thinking, for example, I'm a graphic designer, and I know that for a lot of people, they're struggling with understanding how to make a brand work. Could I create a little course? Okay, can I create some little presentations, and then I can deliver actually on different platforms, or even in-house, a little Canva course. So that's maybe like a classic, like I don't know how to use Canva. Oh, okay, I can come in and teach you. And that's a way in. That's the way to get to know people. That's the way to start a conversation, to create that trust, to build in a first step in the door, basically. Facebook groups, doing courses, also looking at where they hang out, like sort of in their social interest. What sports are they doing? Golf? Are they going to certain clubs? Are they doing certain hobbies and things like that? And how can I potentially utilize that in what I do? And again, this is really, really broad. Have I thought of local papers and magazines, and my local coffee shop, or leaflets or cards, my local parish, my local shops, my associations, etc. We need to get really, really creative, and this is a great thing for freelancers, particularly, I think, in the creative industry. You can really you can have so many ideas and really, really have a different way. I know that it is really much stepping outside our comfort zone, and playing big and being visible is scary, and we feel very exposed. But really exploring all of these ideas is really the starting point of innovation. So I think that when you know yourself clearly, when you have that idea of what stands out in me, what's different in me, then I can start brainstorming, and I can start like having those huge mind maps. So this is my suggestion of an action for this part, because we really want to be creating actions. We want to be innovating. We want to be standing out and thinking out of the box. So creating a massive mind map of all the different things that I could be doing. And I want you to, when you're doing that phase, when you're doing that brainstorming, do not exclude anything. Like, go crazy and really, you know, like exactly what we do in the creative process, isn't it? We just like see everything that could be there, put everything down. And then when you're like, have enough ideas there, you can review it, you can see what you want to do, what you don't want to do, what's achievable, what's accessible, what's maybe for the future, etc. But the being ambitious and the triggering the passion as well is going to make a big difference in the drive to doing it, you know, the spark to doing it, because that's what we want to do. Remember, it is a marathon and not a sprint. Sorry, I'm finishing a little bit quickly, but you'll have everything and also in the worksheet. Being ambitious, please be ambitious. To invest your time. This is really, really important in this part of the strategy. Be daring, believe in yourself, and yes, really, as a summary of all that is dream big. Really dream big to believe in yourself. So I've talked a lot about this worksheet. So I'm going to post it now in the chat. Where's my little chat? Here you go. Oops. It's moving for some reason. Oh. All right, let's have a look. That people starting to leave the meeting. That's absolutely fine. Don't worry. I'm having problems with accessing the chat.
I can reshare the link. Is it the same link that you shared?
It's the same link. Yeah, same link as the very beginning of the chat. Just wanted to put that again, but for some reason it's going everywhere. Oh, thank you, Eva. Perfect. So yes, so this is my contact if you wish to connect. It'd be lovely to connect on LinkedIn. You can keep me posted about how it goes. If you have any questions, please, it's always a pleasure to answer. I also always offer a free discovery session. So if you feel like, okay, I'd like to continue that conversation a little bit one-to-one with Clem, please feel free to reach out. So no obligation, free discovery session. But more importantly, let's keep in touch and connect. LinkedIn, social media, Instagram. And thank you so much for your attention.